the highlights and the resolution of the Raiders and Niners game. We just showed you the top five. We want to let you know that next year on the season finale of NFL Red Zone, we're going to have you involved in picking the top five plays of the year as seen on NFL Red Zone. Scan the QR code on your screen and you can vote. We've whittled down some of the best candidates for plays of the year. Something tells me Justin Jefferson's one-hander in what's been the game of the year, the Vikings and the Bills back in Week 10, will be one of those top five plays. But we want to hear from you which plays you love the most on NFL Red Zone. Again, flip over to your Fox affiliate. Some of you in the United States, depending on what Fox decides to do nationally, will have the overtime of the Niners and the Raiders. The rest of you will see the highlights later on tonight on NFL Network, and we'll have every touchdown for you in just a moment. Big picture here. We had three teams that could win and clinch today. Philadelphia not able to do it. The Eagles can still be the top seed in the NFC if they win next week in their season finale. The Giants get their job done. They are in the postseason with their definitive win over the Colts today. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting a home playoff game as the division champs in the NFC South. Tom Brady and company with a fourth quarter come from behind victory to clinch the division for the second time in 3 years. Playoff picture. This is the way things stand right now. Currently, just at least for the moment, Kansas City jumps into the 1 seed, but the Buffalo Bills play a massive game in the AFC playoff picture on Monday Night Football tomorrow night in Cincinnati. Bills-Bengals head-to-head. That will shake up the top three in the AFC. The Jags are currently the division leaders in the AFC South, but the Jags and the Titans play next week, and the season finale for both teams. Winner of that Titans-Jags game will take the AFC South and get the home playoff game that comes with it. The Ravens are in the playoffs as a wild card at the minimum. Ravens could still win the division if the Bengals stumble down the road. The Chargers are locked into a wild card spot. Chargers could be the 5, 6, or the 7 seed. And currently the Patriots, with their victory over the Dolphins today, have the inside track at the last wild card spot in the AFC. You see the teams that are still alive there, Miami and Pittsburgh among them as well. Over in the NFC, the Eagles lose, but they still stay the number 1 seed because the Vikings lost as well. The Niners playing in overtime right now. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers lock up the 4 seed, and they won't move from the 4 seed as the division champs of the NFC South. The Cowboys are in the playoffs, and Cowboys are basically locked in. Well, they're not actually locked into the 5 seed because the Eagles have not locked up the NFC East just yet. The Giants are locked into one of the 3 wild card spots, and then Seattle and the Lions and the Packers will determine the final spot. We have the Packers last in the hunt right there, but the Packers have the inside track. If Green Bay wins their matchup head-to-head with the Lions next week, the Packers will claim the wild card spot in the NFC. Seattle needs the Packers to lose and the Seahawks to win. The Lions need to beat the Packers and see the Seattle Seahawks win, and Detroit can squeak in as the last playoff team in the NFC. By the way, we are still watching overtime for you. This just happened in overtime between Las Vegas and San Francisco. Jarrett Stidham hit as he throws and intercepted, and the Niners have room to get inside of Vegas territory, inside the 20, down inside of the 10-yard line, and the Niners, they're going to line up and they'll get a shot potentially at a game-winning touchdown, but they're going to line the ball up in the middle of the field for another game-winning field goal attempt. This one would end it in overtime, and it'll be a chip shot for Robbie Gould. Maybe we'll show you that in just a moment here. NFL Game Day Highlights is coming up on NFL Network. As soon as we are finished with the touchdown montage, that show starts over on NFL Network at the bottom of the hour, about 1 minute from right now. NFL Game Day Final will wrap things up at the end of the evening. Touchdown total. What did we see here today? 68 total touchdowns. And we had 13 games on the NFL Red Zone slate, so we expected a lot of scoring, and there was 68 total touchdowns, including 7 on defense and special teams. We're going to probably hit 1,000 touchdowns on the season finale next week, Week 18. By the way, special schedule for Week 18 here. There will be 2 Saturday primetime and national TV games. Still to be announced who will be participating in these. We expect the NFL will get the schedule out by the end of this evening, but ESPN will have a doubleheader on Saturday, 4:30 Eastern and 8:15 Eastern. The early window starts at 1 o'clock on Sunday, as it always does. We'll have every touchdown from every game for you in those games on the season finale of NFL Red Zone, and then one game will be flexed to NBC for the last game of the regular season. That schedule will be announced hopefully by the end of the evening. Stay with NFL Network at NFL.com for that. Well, it is now final in overtime. Here's the way it finished with San Francisco and Las Vegas. At the end of regulation, this from 23. Good step, good hold, redemption for Robbie. And the San Francisco 49ers win their 9th in a row, 37-34 in overtime over the Las Vegas Raiders.
So the best offenses got to get it done in tough circumstances. Best defenses show up. The best teams.
It was more difficult than almost every prognosticator had thought it would be going in. Raiders give them credit. They make the quarterback change. Jarrett Stidham played quite well. They scored 34 points, the Raiders did, against the #1 defense in football. But San Francisco perseveres, gets the overtime victory, and the San Francisco 49ers could still potentially be the 1, the 2, or the 3 seed in the NFC playoff picture. In fact, I believe we've just updated the graphic based on that overtime victory there. The Raiders officially eliminated. Meanwhile, over in the NFC, this is the way it breaks down by virtue of the Niners win. They jump up to the 2 seed. Minnesota loses. Niners win, both 12-4. San Francisco has the inside track right now. Again, Philadelphia still controls its own path. If the Eagles win next week, they don't have to do any scoreboard watching. The Eagles will be the #1 seed, although that's been the case for the Eagles for the last 2 weeks. Philadelphia has lost both of those games. All right, deep breath here. We're about ready for the touchdown montage. Thankfully, we got that game-winning kick to you there from the Niners and Raiders in overtime. And with that, the new year is underway. For all the hardworking women and men here in the studio and in the control room, for our producers, Alan Flowers, Brian Nettles, McEnroe Francis, Director Dustin Stern, I'm Scott Hansen saying thank you so much for watching. We leave you as we always do, with one more look at every touchdown from every game presented by Prime Video. Good night, Happy New Year, and we'll see you next week for the season finale.